Hi, hello, hola friends. If you've been living under a rock, it's Fashion Week season.
Do you want this?
If you're new, welcome, and if you're back, then welcome back. Today we're going to be chatting about New York Fashion Week. Today is the third video of our Fashion Week season series. Welcome. If you missed it, the series started with a Copenhagen video, and then we had a New York Fashion Week predictions video. So if you want to check those out, feel free to jump into that after this video, but let's get into what I saw at Fashion Week. And I'm going to be rating each of those trends. And down below in the comments, I want to see what you think and which trends you would or wouldn't wear. So let's get into it. We're going to be getting a little bit ruthless. This Fashion Week was particularly spicy. So hang out with me for a while to see how New York Fashion Week compares to Copenhagen Fashion Week. So the first trend that I was really excited to see, and I feel like is very appropriate for New York, is not so serious workwear. So I don't know about you, but I have never been a big fan of workwear. To me, there's ways that it definitely looks chic, but to me, it always felt so stuffy and felt like the soul and personality of a person was sucked out when it came to workwear. There wasn't a lot of room for fun and personality. So here are some looks that I saw that I loved. I loved how sexy this look was, and I loved how playful this one was. Think about coming into work and having everybody showing up with some semblance of the professionalism and the archetype that's been built up when it comes to workwear, but having it turned a bit, almost having this dress code that's flexible to the personality of each person at the office. So even if you're an analyst at a fashion design house, I still think that it would be so great to have you come into work with a twist on workwear that speaks to who you are. We're starting off really strong with this one, so I'm gonna give it a 9. I don't think I gave anything in Copenhagen a 9. I've been craving workwear to be more universally accepted as something that we can have more fun with. And I think this is a really good push in the right direction. This next trend I am very, very jazzed about. I'm known to not be a big fan of the animal print, but in this case, I think it is so cool, so chic. I feel like it is blasphemous because I am a big OG fan of 101 Dalmatians. We're talking about doing faux furs and faux prints that mimic the Dalmatian print. So this could even be in something like this that has a speckly print to it, something that feels very chic and reminiscent of this print, but not quite that. Or this handbag that I am obsessed with. Again, I'm so not an animal print person, so to me, when I saw this trend going around, I got so excited. Likely next fall, everyone's going to start noticing it. So if you want to be ahead of the curve, then start getting in on this Dalmatian print now. So it's no secret that I love this trend. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. I feel like having this print on a piece would guarantee that you would get so many questions about where you got that piece or that bag or that accessory. And for that reason, I think it deserves a 7.5 rating. But I docked those 2.5 points because it is a trend that I could see in the future. So maybe 5 years from now, we look back and we say, oh, wow, that was so 2026. But I will say overall, animal prints do seem to go around and around, no matter how much they're not really my thing. But this is one selfishly I'm kind of hoping stays because my initial reaction to it was fun. So this one was a huge curveball that I did not see coming. If you saw my last video where I predicted New York Fashion Week trends, this was nowhere close to what I had in mind for New York Fashion Week. We'll see if some of my predictions end up turning up. Sailor hats. This is one that I won't say is impossible for me to like, but it's definitely one that each time that I saw it, I couldn't really get down with. So here are some of those looks, and I can kind of see how it's this American interpretation of a French beret, but the French beret is better. So I don't know. It's not for me, but I'm going to put my rating here. You let me know if you highly disagree and if you think there are ways to do it. If so, please let me know. But for me, I'm going to give this one a 2. To see that New York did not reject the Copenhagen trend of the headscarf. So similar to the Juliet cap that we mentioned in the Copenhagen video, the headscarf is a more casual version to me of this and is one that's very versatile. So I really love it. Even if you pull it down to your shoulders and then pull it up to the headscarf, almost like a hood, I feel like this is a trend that's so functional and definitely adds a fun extra playful element to your outfit and adds this chic extra accessory that we all can get on board with. So for me, I'm already going to jump straight into the ratings. We're going a little quick on this one, but with this, I'm gonna have to give it an 8.5. The reason why I didn't give it a full 10 out of 10, which nothing has gotten a full 10. Wait, one of them did, the proud pregnancy trend for the Copenhagen video, but I'm giving this one an 8.5 because to me it's very functional. I think more of us should use it. It's definitely something that I don't see a lot, but I would love to see more of. I think it's really stylish and cool, and it still can feel really effortless. I think you can have a really limited number of pieces in an outfit, which I think always gives a really smart, chic look. When it looks like you have just enough on and you just add the scarf onto your shoulders, think Kendall Jenner with a silk scarf just tied on her shoulders. I feel like this could be a trend that we all start to integrate into our closets, but again, it's one that I think is like that extra accessory you forget to walk out the door with sometimes. But let me know what you think. So New York is surprising me with more high scores than I thought, but let's jump into the next one and see how it goes. I knew it was gonna get bad. The balloon hem. Guys, this is one that I remember seeing when I was in middle school, high school, and it came back briefly in like a mini balloon hem, and I just never love it. I don't hate it. Like I'm not gonna give it the same 2 that I gave the sailor hat, but I just don't want it back. I don't want the balloon hem back. But these are some of the looks that I found. I don't hate any of these. That's the thing. I don't think this hem is the most flattering, and flattery is not the goal of fashion. It's about making a statement. So these have an element of that, but it's just pretty low on my list of ways to make a statement. But the next trend that we get into is going to be the cousin of this trend, but I think that it's done better. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. I don't think it's the worst. I just kind of wish that it was over and done with and we can just throw it out with some of those trends that to me just don't need to be around anymore. Time to reveal the cousin of the balloon hem, and that is the bloomer pant. Here are a few different ways that I saw it during New York Fashion Week, and it's not that I love this one, but to me, it's not a trend that I wish went away when I was in middle school and never came back. It is a piece of clothing that's from history and is now being reinvented on runways like Chloe. So I'm excited to see how people interpret this one. I think it could be something that's really interesting, again, new, and to me, a new perspective on things that were long forgotten in the fashion timeline is so fun, so interesting, and I'm ready to see more because I'm curious. So simply for curiosity's sake, I'm going to give this trend a 6.5. I can't go any higher than a 6.5 because I'm still kind of suspicious of this one. I don't see it and think, wow, I am in love with this, but I'm intrigued and I want to see more, so I'm going to give it a 6.5. The next New York Fashion Week trend that I really, really loved, I hope that more clothing in stores is made for this trend, and it is layered belts. So here are some examples of what I was seeing. It adds another accessory, so you could even have the same belt color on both belts and then have a different buckle on each one. There's just so many ways to have fun with this. It's just interesting, cool, and adds just another layer, especially for someone like me who doesn't necessarily layer because of the weather that I live in. But belts allows for a little bit more fun when you don't have the colder months, where you could layer jackets and coats and have more fun with textures. Instead, I'll be able to use my belts to have a little extra fun. So I think it's a fun detail. So on this one, I am giving it a 9 out of 10 because the only issue with this is if we don't have enough clothing that has this option to have a double belt. And I don't particularly see it happening where it's so accessible because I think a lot of brands don't necessarily think that the average shopper is going to want to have 2 belts on their outfits just because it adds like another accessory that you need to find for your clothes to make it look finished. But for me, it's definitely a 10 out of 10, something that I would definitely love to wear. So I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 just for a little bit of the practicality aspect of it. And that's definitely going to bump up our New York Fashion Week a bit from some of those low ratings that we had in the beginning of this video. This trend for me was really led by Brandon Maxwell. I loved him on Project Runway. And this is one look that I saw that had me starting on the journey of this trend for New York Fashion Week. I haven't even mentioned the trend yet. Unexpected plaid. But Brandon really challenged this for me because although I could see for sure Cher from Clueless wearing something like this, it feels really new. I think it could be really fun. I hope we all join in a little bit. I did have a plaid phase right after college where I had fun wearing them and layering them, but I did it purely in the way that you would expect. But this is something that I would wear now, feel really polished and cool. And to me, it redefines plaid as something grunge to something very chic. So if I were to go back, I was very much a goody two-shoes when I was growing up. I really still haven't had my rebellious phase. Maybe I'll be like Rory Gilmore and it'll happen when I'm in my 40s. The trend I absolutely loved seeing and thought it was so sexy and cool at New York Fashion Week was the grunge trend. All of these looks to me say sexy, cool, a little intimidating, which we love. And to me, it says alter ego. I would love to try something like this. It definitely feels like something I would try for a particular party. And for some of you, this could be your everyday, and something like that preppy plaid is your alter ego. It kind of gives me Sabrina vibes, especially the Kieran Ronan version. I just think we all secretly want to know what we would look like if we fully committed to this grunge trend. So for the drama of the alter ego of this trend, I'm going to give this one an 8 out of 10. I think it is so cool, sexy, fun, unexpected. Also, I can see this trend merging really well with one that I had in my predictions, which was the pierced bags trend. I'm really happy with this 8 out of 10 rating, and I'm curious what you think down below. So let's get into the roundup of what the full score is now. So let's jump into our roundup of our New York Fashion Week Spring Summer 2026 rating. I think it took about 20 times to be able to say that, and see how it measures up to Copenhagen. Drum roll, please. New York Fashion Week's rating is 6 out of 10. So if you know me, this is not a full surprise because I am not much of a city girl, and that aesthetic is not really the way I lean, but I can definitely appreciate it. And to be what we saw at Copenhagen Fashion Week, which got a 7 out of 10, just felt more unique. It felt new. It felt refreshed. It felt exciting to me. And I wanted to see a little bit more of that in New York Fashion Week. I will say that my ratings are very heavily what I see on the streets, but there was a lot of really good trends here that got a very high rating and some that took the average down by a lot, like the sailor hat. But overall, we always love New York Fashion Week. I'm excited to report soon on London Fashion Week. So subscribe and turn on that notification bell. But until next time, I'm going to be keeping an eye on the latest fashion moments and be reporting back. I love and appreciate you all, and thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I would really love you to join our little community here and hit that notification bell over there if you want to be notified every time that I post a video. And until next time, chat soon.
Do you want this?
Hi, hello, hola. Wait, oh yeah.
Do you need it?